This episode of the Outline Podcast is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering the listeners of this show one free audiobook and 30 days to listen to that and more. You can check out The Last Black Unicorn, narrated by Tiffany Haddish. You can check out Born a Crime by comedian Trevor Noah. You can check out the new book by Michael Wolff, Fire and Fury, Inside the Trump White House. That's a popular one this week. You can get all this by going to audibletrial.com/outlinepod. Once again, that's audibletrial.com/outlinepod. Let's start the show.
Yeah, outline. Yeah. With Kevin Dwayne. The outline. Yeah. With Kevin Dwayne. Yeah. This is the outline with Kevin Dwayne. Kevin Dwayne with Kevin Dwayne.
All right, 2018 is here. We're a couple weeks in. I hope that you are making the best on whatever your resolution was, whatever it was that you said you were going to do. I hope you are actively doing it. This is the year of no excuses, the year of taking responsibility, and the year to get this motherfucking money. Like, let's get this money. Currently, I have The Secret app. So you guys are familiar with the book, The Secret. It came out, it had to be more than a decade ago, but all about, positive thinking and being on the right frequencies and really channeling energy for yourself. And today's message, and when I say today, I mean Tuesday's message. You're going to hear this on Wednesday, so it's going to be a different message by the time you hear this. But Tuesday's message was understanding that prosperity is a birthright. And you have that key, and you have to also send out the right positive energy to get it. You have to say, this is what I deserve. Let's get this money. And you also have to work. I am so into execution right now. I'm tired of thinking. I'm tired of dreaming. I'm tired of planning. Right now, I just want to execute. I want to get things done. When I think about it, do it. And that's why I'm recording this podcast right now. I could have waited until the morning. I could have waited till the last minute. But I said, no, do it now. Get it done now. And then you can free up that time to do other things. Another thing that we have to realize, and I'm speaking to all my creatives out there, anybody who wants to do anything, get to work, period. Let's not ignore the fact that we have more access now than the people before us did. There was once upon a time that to be a writer, to be a journalist, to get your work seen, you had to work for a publication. You had to have a TV deal. You had to have a record studio to record music. You had to have all these things. Now, having your own platform is nothing. You just have to put in the work. I wrote a blog last week. I wrote a blog this week because, like I said, execution. And make sure you guys check that out at kevindwayne.com. But I was looking at the statistics, or the analytics rather, and there's people in Denmark and Nairobi, Texas, Los Angeles, Washington reading my stuff. That's amazing to me. That's absolutely amazing. We live in a time where we have more access to consumers than ever before. So why aren't we taking advantage of this shit? Why aren't we actively putting our work out there? And I encourage you, as I encourage myself, get to work. Like, get out here. Let's get this money. Like, I'm so serious. And that's really my attitude right now. This is how I want this year to be. I want to just have positive energy. I want to inspire, and I want to get shit done. I want to grind, and I want to get what I deserve. This is the Outline Podcast. I am Kevin Dwayne. Thank you so much for joining me for another show. I, as you can see, am all about getting things done. Make sure you check out KevinDwayne.com. I now have some weekly pieces that you can read on there. My friend Wabi, who's been on the show, she's also writing a weekly piece. You can see her perspective on random things as well. Among other things, I'm trying to really step it up for the brand because I want you to step your brand up too. Like, let's get out here and do things. But make sure you are subscribed to this podcast. Make sure you're sharing it with your friends. Use the hashtag, the Outline Podcast, to share your favorite quotes. You can leave your comments on the podcast section of KevinDwayne.com. You can also leave them on SoundCloud. We're on Stitcher, Google Play Music, TuneIn Radio. You can listen to this podcast in various places. Make sure you're rating and commenting and doing all that great stuff. I appreciate you for it all. Hope you're enjoying your week. So, there's a lot going on in social media and pop culture, per usual. I mean, there are some slow weeks, but this is not one of them. Number one, just so I can get out the way, I want to talk about the H&M situation. So, I didn't really care to throw my opinion in the ring, on Facebook and social media. I've honestly just been sitting back and watching because I'm exhausted. I mean, this is not an isolated situation. I mean, systematic racism is a thing, and it's not going to be the last thing that happens. It's always something to be in an uproar about. But that doesn't mean I don't have an opinion on it, and I'm going to share it right now. So let me just catch you up for those of you who literally live under a fucking rock and don't pay attention to anything because this shit is everywhere. So H&M, which is a Swedish company, by the way, put up some new products for their children's line. And there is this beautiful black boy who has on a green sweater, or sweatshirt rather. The sweatshirt says, "The coolest monkey in the jungle." Now, you don't need hooked on phonics to know that this is problematic as fuck, but we still pretend that people don't know that this is not something you should do when it comes to black bodies. You should never compare them to monkeys. On the flip hand side, there's also a photo of a white kid. And I'm not going to slam the white kid. I've noticed that there's been a lot of people kind of slamming him. He's a child. I'm not going to talk about this young man. Fuck that. But his sweatshirt says, the jungle survival expert. Or for a lack of a better word. There's a little more words than that. But it says survival expert. So naturally, people have been boycotting H&M and writing think pieces and being very upset about it. Rightfully so. But on the flip hand side, you have people who are saying that, once again, that black people are overreacting and this is bullshit and, same old. We did this with Dove. We did this with Shea Moisture. We do this a few times a month at this point. I'm tired. I don't feel heavily about any of it because I'm numb to it, but I do have a solid opinion on it, meaning I do think that the ad was trash. Now, outside the ad being trash, here's my real problem. I am so sick of you black ass white supremacists. I am so sick of you, our kinfolk, our skin folk who ain't our kinfolk. I'm so sick of seeing black people tell other black people that they're overreacting, that racism doesn't exist, that this is just fashion. No, boo. But I will tell you that you're a fucking idiot if you believe that. If you believe that this is a non-issue, you're the fucking problem. How do you ignore that African Americans have a long, checkered history with America, with the fucking world, really? So how do you deduct that this is just fashion? How do you deduct that black people are overreacting when police brutality is still a huge killer of black bodies? When we are still filling jails? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you that you would rather go buy $3 shirts than stand by your own people? No, Black people aren't overreacting in this one. This is actually an issue. And this is why it's an issue. There's been arguments that because it's a Swedish company that, well, they operate differently than Americans. Sure, but racism exists in Sweden. Racism exists everywhere. They don't like niggas anywhere. Also, why you guys like to assume everything. In companies, when you have a marketing campaign, there's checks and balances. It has to go through several people before it's signed off to go into publication, because they have to make sure that it is appropriate for consumers and have to make sure that they don't endure shit like this. So there's obviously some intention there. I saw one silly ass argument who I had to just unfollow him because it was just stupid. He was like, well, the sweatshirt just looked good on him. Maybe they just thought that the color went good with his complexion. Shut the entire fuck up. Because why would you have a black boy in a shirt that has anything to do with the monkey, but a white person saying that they are a survival expert of said animals and stuff like that? Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, this blind ass ignorance just to defend products that you love. And I get it. And finally, the people who say, well, you guys are boycotting this, but you aren't boycotting this, and you aren't doing this, or you aren't voting, or you aren't this. I kindly bid you to also shut the fuck up. Because that's not how this works. It's not how this works. If we really broke down a lot of companies that we all know and love, we will find issue in a lot of them. But it's about awareness. And just because you're not aware of what people are doing or where their money is going and the systems that take place does not mean you don't have the right to be angry about something that is a apparent racist tactic. Because representation matters, right? So this argument that because we're not mad at something else but mad at this, that it should just make us moot, that's just like that's white supremacy in action right there. It's pretty much, it's gaslighting like a motherfucker. I'm so sick of black people gaslighting other black people, trying to make us feel like racism doesn't actually exist and it's all in our head. No, it exists, boo, and we're all affected by it. That's what I got from this whole thing. The situation itself, it's not isolated. It's going to happen again. It's going to continue to happen because this is the world we live in. So I'm not even on that. It was disgusting. It was a terrible oversight or whatever you want to call it. It was ignorant. It was tone deaf on H&M's part. So they're getting boycotted for it. Rightfully so. But it's going to happen again with another company. That's not the issue. My issue are you cooning ass black people who want to gaslight other black people, and you're worse than racist because you turn your back against your own kind. That's my fucking issue with all of this. And that's all I have to say on that matter. So the Golden Globes were on Sunday. I don't watch these awards because it's the same shit every year, but I always get the highlights if there are any. And this year there were. Number one, Sterling K. Brown won Best Actor in a Dramatic Series. And this is the first time for a black man. Once again, it's 2018 now, and we still are having first. Like, these award shows have literally been around for 100 plus years. And we're still having first for black people. Like, blows my mind. But he is a phenomenal actor. He has put in work, and I am so happy for him. I am so excited that he got to have his full time to give his speech. He is an amazing man, and so I wish him the best. I hope his checks get even bigger, and he gets even larger roles, which I'm sure he would. He's a phenomenal actor. Like, I was sold in the O.J. Simpson American Crime Story, but listen, he's amazing. So shout out to Sterling. Super excited for him. And on the flip side, Oprah accepted the Cecil B. Is it DeMille? I think it's DeMille or DeMille. I'm not sure. Award for Lifetime Achievement. She gave an amazing speech, better than the current person in office right now, but that's neither here nor there. Amazing speech. She talked about being a little girl and seeing Sidney Poitier win for the first time and how that inspired her and how she said her being the first Black woman to win this award, how she can be that person for another little Black girl. She talked about the Me Too movement. She talked about the Me Too movement. She also talked about how time's up for these men out here sexually assaulting people and not paying for it. Time's up. And it was an amazing speech, but Oprah delivers nothing but amazing shit. Like Oprah is just, she's Oprah. She's Oprah. So that has everyone saying that they want her to now run for president in 2020. I don't know, you guys. I'd totally vote for her. I'd totally be in somebody's campaign. I'd wear the pin, the shirts, the jackets, all of that. But I honestly don't wish that upon her. I first of all would not want Oprah, who has already given us so much when it comes to media and changing the game overall, okay? She's already done so much. I wouldn't want her to have to get in the White House and have to clean up the mess that Trump is making. I also want her to go through the racist vitriol of the Republican Party in white America. You see how they dig and just come up with things. I would not want her to have to endure that. And I feel the same way about Michelle Obama. They would both be phenomenal candidates. And if they decide that they want to run, I am here for it. I will gladly vote. But I would never force them into it because that's a whole nother game. And Oprah's done enough, man. Oprah's done enough. She's Oprah. And I wouldn't want to have to endure that shit. So I'm going to pass on the, Oprah, run. But if she wants to, I'm here for it. I will be there at the polling place, volunteering, all of that, naturally, because she'd be amazing. But I would not wish the type of hatred she's going to get upon her. Nah, you saw how they did Obama. And that was a mixed Black man. Now you want to get a full Black woman in the White House and you think that, oh my God, I wouldn't want that for her, but I'd be in full support if she decided to. And that's my thought on that. And finally, when it comes to what's going on, lots of shows have premiered, lots and lots of shows. Black Mirror season 4. I didn't realize the show had come back. I actually got caught up and read the wrong thread on Facebook and had a small moment spoiled for me. And I was like, fuck. And I logged out and instantly turned it on. This season is probably one of the better seasons of the show. Like I enjoy every season. Every season has phenomenal shows. This one was it was dope. My favorite episodes this season are Black Museum, Hang the DJ, and USS Callister. Now, the other 2 or 3 were good, but those 3 right there are so good. I don't want to kill them for you. I don't want to spoil them, but if you have not watched Black Mirror season 4, watch it immediately. It's super, super good. And just the way they work with technology, it really touches you. It really touches you and it really fucks with your mind. It's so good. So check out Black Mirror season 4, now available on Netflix. So over the weekend, I watched a lot of gay media. Like Amazon Prime has so many gay shows and gay movies. Netflix has its own share. Hulu also has its own share. Well, I finally ended up on Kiki, which is a documentary. It works as a part 2 to Paris is Burning. If you've not seen Paris is Burning, watch that shit. It's on Netflix. Watch Paris is Burning. It's an amazing documentary about the ballroom scene. This was in the 80s. You know, this is around the AIDS epidemic. This is around, it was an amazing documentary. Kiki works the same way. It's it is the ballroom scene at present day. So it has the same concept, the same talks, political vibes and things like that. It's on Hulu currently, so check it out. Don't want to necessarily talk about that. But it led me down, I guess, the rabbit hole of allies and friendships. In the documentary, there were interviews with people and their mothers and their friends. And it really had me thinking about the women in my life. I know that my story is not the same as everyone else's. And I find this out every day by talking to other people. But for me, women were always at the forefront of my acceptance and my respect for myself, especially in the beginning when I was young and things like that. I've always had strong female figures in my life that have always supported me and never wavered. And when I was watching Kiki, I sent each of them, the ones that are still in my life, a text just thanking them for being in my life. Thanking them for never wavering, never abandoning me for the sake of straightness, never leaving my side for these whack ass niggas out here who are against gay people, never treating me like I was below morality. And I wanted to take a moment and kind of highlight my experiences with these women, because I think it's important, and it's great to kind of go through and realize that there's always been some kind of girl in my life that has had my back, like for real. And I've had other ones who didn't, there's always the women who they like you for accessory purpose. Like you're their gay friend they shop with, and they pretend you're like one of their girlfriends. No, fuck them. I'm not here for those types. I'm not a fucking accessory. I don't even like shopping like that. So nah, fuck that. But I'm talking about the people who really have your back and really care about your well-being, who are really there for you. That's who I'm talking about in this episode. These are the people that I want to thank. And this goes back, I think the furthest I can go back is middle school. Now, I had friends who were girls before, for sure. But I'm talking about all out acceptance of me being gay, because I don't want to shade anybody, but I just got to keep it real here. So we got to start with my cousin and one of my best friends, Jasmine. Jasmine and I, we met when we were like 11, 12 years old, maybe 10, 11 years old. That sounds correct, actually. Of course, our parents were like, oh, you guys played together when you were babies. Well, yes, guess what? We don't remember that shit, okay? So we reunited again and met each other when we were 10 and 11. And she and I became really, really close as kids. Like, we really became close. And I always knew that I was different. I knew I was gay before I knew to even call it gay. Obviously, I never had a transformative experience. I was never straight and all that bullshit. I always knew. But of course, there was levels of denial, and there were levels of me not wanting to reveal that to people. But I would kind of give out these hints or say things and hope people would catch it. Jasmine was one of those people who caught it. And Jasmine was one of those people who pretty much told me I was gay. She's like, listen, I'm tired of your shit. I remember we were in, I want to say, it was 14 or 15. I'm feeling like it was 14. Like, I'm really feeling like it was 14, probably going into high school. I was at her place, her parents' house. We were 14 and 15, by the way. And we were hanging out. And during that time, I was really going through just processing being gay. And I would say stupid shit like, I ain't gay, but that guy is really good looking. Jasmine used to peep Gabe and be like, nigga, what? Like, she wouldn't say it, but she was just kind of like, okay. And I remember the night before I was supposed to go home, we were just in the room, just her and I talking. And she was like, do you like guys? And I think I was hesitant, and she was like, it's okay. Like, it's totally fine. Like, it doesn't mean anything if you do. Like, I'd totally be cool with it. You're my cousin. I love you, blah, blah. It's cool. And I was like, oh, well, I'm still figuring out. She's all like, well, I think you do. She's like, I've noticed that you say a lot of things that are, about guys and that'd be totally fine if you are. And then it got to a point where I was like, yeah, I am gay. And that moment tightened our bond even more. Like we were already close as fuck, but then we became closer. And I remember we talked all night. Like I remember me and her dad, like I would commute with him to work because they lived outside of the city. And so I would like ride with him when he would go to work in the morning. He would take me back home because he worked in the city. So we stayed up all night just talking. And then that morning, I remember he woke up and I just got in the car and I remember feeling that much more free because I finally talked to somebody that didn't betray me and that I really felt safe with. So Jasmine provided that first safety and she did it. She does it to this day. Like she's still in my life and she does it now. And I remember at that point, she started caring more about my well-being. Like she always was, it was always about how are you feeling? Like she would never let anyone mistreat me, never let anybody talk to me any kind of way. And even in adulthood, I remember when I moved to Atlanta, her and I were roommates. She would go on these dates and she would tell me about it, obviously. And she would ask the guys that she would be on dates with, like, do you have any issues with gay people? Because if you do, this is going to be a problem. Like, I know too many gay people and too many of my loved ones are gay and I will not have them be uncomfortable behind you. And I always appreciated that she was someone who was never going to ignore my sexuality or my well-being for the sake of dick, especially if she knew we were close and I was always going to be around. And so that means so much to me, man. Like, that's amazing. And to have someone in your life like that, it's dope. It's absolutely dope. Then you have Christina. Christina I met through hell. It was like a string of other girls. Like I had so many friends in college and I literally went through friend to friend to friend and got to her. And Christina is also someone who's an ally. She stands up to hotep ass dudes. She stands up to people. Like she checks people on their bullshit. And she's never, once again, chosen dick over me. She's never questioned my morals. And if anything, she freed me from a lot of things I had going on with myself. Like when I was heavy into religion and felt like I was going to end up in hell and stuff like that. She's like, boo, stop this shit. You good. She got me to see like, nah, fuck that, And she's always brought things to task. We've had very, very deep conversations. And I also appreciate Christina is because she got me to see the misogyny and also a lot of the whack ass male privilege tropes that are also in the gay community. She's the one who got me to check my misuse of the word female. Now, I can say, like I said, female figures earlier in the show. She got me to see the difference between saying that and saying these females, or how these females are. Like, she got me to see how wrong that is and why it's wrong, and she really challenged the whole idea. And she let me see how we as gay men can be just as misogynistic. We can be sexist as fuck and we still flaunt our male privilege, even as gay men. And we can still oppress women ignorantly. And I appreciate her for that. And I appreciate her for always having my back and always being there for me. Then you have Mwabi, who she and I met in 2012 when I moved to Atlanta. Met at work. And what I appreciate about her is she has sons. And she raises them to be open-minded. She doesn't allow them to say hateful things. She doesn't allow them to hold these thoughts. And she's raising these respectful men who can still be masculine and still be, they can still identify as strong and all this stuff, but also respect gay people and gay men. You know, she would never allow them to like make fun of me or whatever. Like they're super cool. They're super that. And I thank her for doing that, because there's so many people out there who have sons and feel like they're going to make their sons gay or something. They still have this belief that, oh, that's going to give them the wrong ideas. And I wouldn't want them to be gay. Whereas she's like, listen, I'm pretty sure my sons are straight, but if they ever came to me and said they were gay, I'd still be okay, because I love them. And I appreciate her for having the strength to give that knowledge to her kids. And that means a lot to me. Like, that means so much. Now, those are the three that come to mind. I hope that I'm not missing anybody. And I'm sorry. Challenge my mind and not my heart. But these are three prominent figures in my life that I'm just grateful for them being alliances and or allies rather. I'm sorry. I'm thankful for them being allies, and it means a lot to me. And it gives me the strength to keep pushing forward. It gives me the strength to know that people have my back. And I think the reason that I am the way I am is because of these women. They never wavered. They never judged me in a way that made me feel like I was on the wrong side of history. They're always there for the fight. They push forward, and I love all of them for that. And Kiki, the documentary, amazing documentary on Hulu, make sure you watch it, got me thinking about that. And I just want to be like, thank you for being a true friend. And these are my sisters. These are my sisters. I'd do anything for them. They mean the world to me. And I know not everyone has that benefit. And not everyone has the privilege to know that. And I want to say that I am grateful. I'm showing nothing but gratitude. I thank you all for being there for me as women, as straight women. You didn't have to be, because a lot of times, you know, you can find friends who are probably lesbian or something like that. But straight women, it's interesting because they still operate in that world. You know, they still date men who can be homophobic. They still have sons. They still have these things. So it's easy for them to be like, yeah, I can rock with you, but to a limit. These women, I sound like Andrew Caldwell. These women never put a limit on their love for me. And they never allowed men or anyone to come in and say, okay, I need to stay away from Kevin. Nah, fuck that. I appreciate that shit. I appreciate that. So I thank you all so much. You all are amazing to me. Thank you. Thank you, Moabi. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, Christina. You're amazing. I love you. And yeah, that's that. Thank you for being a friend. That's the show. Thank you all for listening. Please subscribe. Leave your comments. Use the hashtags. Tweet your favorite quotes. All that good stuff. And I will talk to you all next week. Peace out.